Welcome to the Transformation Institute's podcast for change. Here is our host, OMARI JAHI Aton.
Hey, welcome to the Transformation Institute podcast for change. I'm your host, OMARI JAHI. And tonight's subject, y'all, is a discussion on, is it too soon? Loving again, the unwritten rules. This is basically about, when is it too soon to date again, or to marry again, or to see other people after you've lost a loved one, or even after a divorce? When is it too soon? You know, we talk a lot about changing our lives, but one of the hardest changes is moving from heartbroken to hopeful. When is it the right time to open that door again after your heart's been broken, to have hope again? Society loves to give us math equations for feelings. They say, wait a half of the time that you were together. I guess that means if you were together 10 years, you're supposed to wait 5 years before you should date or marry somebody else again. But change, it doesn't work that way, y'all, on that kind of calculator. So let's jump into this conversation. I want to introduce you to my co-host. We have with us tonight, I always say today, but I mean tonight, we got Miss Vanessa, we got Kim, we got V, we got Miss Londa with us tonight. And you guys know that if you have any questions or comments, please put your questions and comments in the comments section in Facebook or in the live chat on YouTube, and we'll get them on live, and hopefully we can respond to them, or we'll put them on the live feed so that everybody can see your comment. All right, so let's I guess I got a question, and this is my question. How friends and family often have a mourning period. They put a time period on how long we are supposed to mourn if you lose somebody. Friends and family, those are the ones that basically put us on a running clock. Why do you think people do that? Because they feel uncomfortable when you move on too quickly, or is it about your healing? Or is it about them being so surprised about you moving on so quickly? What do you guys think about that? Why do people put a clock on it? Boom, 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 boom.
Okay, I'll go. Go ahead, Vanessa.
I think it is because people always want to control your narrative. And it's not just about how soon you move on or anything, but sometimes it is they just want to feel like they play a part in your relationships. I personally don't believe it's anybody's decision but their own. You can't tell someone how long to grieve someone, and that be it a loss from death or just a loss of the relationship. You can't control how long it takes for someone to get over that relationship. If it's because of death, sometimes it is harder for people to allow you to move on because they're still clinging to the feelings that they had for the person that you loved. And they make it about them as opposed to making it about you, because usually it's not, oh, well, is this person happy, or can this new person make this person happy, and kind of, fill a void that this person is having. It's more or less like they want to just control your narrative, and it's about how they feel, not more so about how you feel as a person. They're just more concerned with how they feel, because if they thought about you, then they would care more about how it was affecting you. And like I said, I personally don't believe that it's a time limit on anything. people fall in love at their own pace, and people get over people at their own pace.
But I mean, don't you feel? I mean, wouldn't you agree that there is a kind of a peer pressure kind of thing that's going on here? Because if it was just based on the person, because nobody tells you, says anything about how long it's supposed to take you to get married, or how long it's supposed to be before you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend. But when you get one, if you get a wife or get a husband, and you get a divorce, or that well, really, it's not really with the divorce. It's more so if the spouse dies and transitions, that there's a time period put on it. But now let's say the person was sick for 5 years. They were ill for 5 years, and then maybe the last year the doctor said, okay, it's getting close to that time, so probably in the next 3 months, and then it breaks it down to a month, 2 weeks, she gonna be gone, or he gonna be gone. And then after that, I mean, the mourning process is, like you said, Vanessa, it's individual. It's based on the individual. But there seems to be this pressure that people put on other people to kind of make them conform to their feelings. To give you an example of what I'm saying, what if, or give you a scenario, I should say. What if, I'll just use me as an example. What if, God forbid, my wife was to transition, and a year later, I started seeing somebody else, and my son and my daughter don't think that I'm respecting their mama because I'm dating after a year or something to that effect. And now that I'm seeing somebody else, that now they want to invite me to their events and their birthday events and things of that nature, but they don't want me to bring my new girlfriend, which would be kind of disrespectful if you would think about it. What do you all think about that? Do they have the right to ask me to come to a family event, but I got to leave my girlfriend at home because it's not they mama, or it's not they auntie, and it's not they, y'all see where I'm going with. What do y'all think about that?
I would
I
say,
see where you're going. But again, like I said, it's based on, because there are some scenarios where you just said, some people aren't going to be accepting of you bringing someone around after 2 years, after 5 years. It depends on how those other people grieve, because in their minds, they just can't see you with someone else. And we had a family funeral this past weekend, and something similar came up where our deceased loved one, he lost his spouse a few years ago, maybe about 4 to 5 years now, and he had started seeing someone else. Now, she had met a few family members, but he never really had her around, never really talked to us about her. But when she got up to speak, because she felt like she could speak because she lost her man, she
Right.
got up to speak, and she was saying what he said about all these other people and how everybody played a part in his life. And I'm sitting there like, we don't know about you, but she clearly knew about everyone else. And she felt the need to get up there and speak her piece, because could we really be mad? Because he had moved on, and he still was grieving his wife even 4 or 5 years later, because this woman knew everything about his wife. And she was saying, oh, and he always talks about the love they had and blah, blah, blah. And he did. Even before he died, he would still be talking about her, because that was his wife for over 30 years, So you just can't replace someone overnight when it's been that much time, but could we fault him for moving on because he moved on when he was ready? It wasn't about when we were ready. And
Yeah, I
sometimes
mean,
it's just selfishness that keeps us from saying it's okay for someone else to move on.
I mean, I think we understand the right thing to do, but still, we have to agree that there's still that pressure. You know,
The pressure is there. It's
yeah.
there.
Go ahead, Kim.
The pressure is there before and after relationships. The pressure is there when you're going to get married. You know, y'all been together. It's time for y'all to get married now. So there's pressures on the beginning and the
Hmm.
end. But when it comes down to it, far as in depth, I think if you're married, it should be discussed with the kids and the family. In the event of one of us passes, it's okay for this person to move on. It's okay. I have no problems with that because guess what? If I'm still living and if he gone, I'm not gonna sit there and waste my life away. I'm not gonna do that.
Hmm.
So I'm telling you kids now, and I'm telling the family now, it's okay if he move on. I don't
Well,
care because I'm no longer here. I'm no
right.
longer there to fulfill whatever needs this man had or whatever I was doing. Now, if a person comes along and if you feel that this person is being manipulative, then you can say something, but it's okay. And I think that's where the problem lies, especially if you have kids and you don't discuss your plans. Because I'm pretty sure that man and that woman had discussions on in the event of something happening to me, or in the
Hmm.
event to whereas you can no longer take care of me. It's okay to put me in a home. It's okay to put me in a facility. But
Hmm.
we as, you know, black people don't just have these discussions with our family and our kids.
Right.
And that's where the problem come along because now the kids feel like, oh, you disrespecting my mama or you disrespecting my daddy. No, your mama and daddy had a conversation that didn't include you guys to talk about our life after death plans.
Hmm.
See, you guys just going on of what you see and not what you know. And that's the problem. Stop going off what you see because what works for us might not work for everybody else. I sent you guys a clip from Kevin Gates, and he was saying that he moved on after 52 days after his marriage. It
Oh
was
wow.
funny. So it's like there is no time frame. And like Vanessa said, you move on when you're ready. Be it death, breakup, divorce, or whatever have you. Forget what the world say, because guess what? The world don't know. The world's not on the inside of your turmoil.
Right.
So what what works for us might not work for the world. And that's okay. That's
Hmm.
okay. Now we have a fallout, guess what? That's okay. Because my kids not gonna take care of me like this person is. And you know,
Yeah.
some people want the companionship. Them kids ain't gonna be over there every day. Them kids got their own lives. They barely come see you. But they want you to sit in the house and just rot away, sit in the rocking chair, sit in the window rotting away. No, no, let that person be happy. Cause guess what? You happy. You in the streets living your best life. Let me live mine. I put in
Right.
my time.
Well, I mean, I agree 1,000% what you're saying, Kim. I mean, but I mean, it's still there though. I mean, it's even like what you
It's
said.
gonna
Let's
be
say,
there because they don't
yeah.
understand. It's going to be there, but guess what? It's not for them to worry about because guess what? It works for you. You want to live out the rest of your days in peace and happiness. So at the
Nah.
end of the day, I did my time. I did my job.
Hmm.
My job was well done. Now let me go enjoy my work, the years of my labor. Now, if you guys can't understand it, then oh well. At the end of the day, this is my person until the next person come along.
Well, now, let me just add to the story that now I'm making this up now. I want y'all to think that I'm talking
No,
about
forget it.
anybody.
It's scenarios.
This is all hypothetical. You know, let's say that okay, my wife passed, and the person I decide to hook up with And when I say hook up, I ain't talking about sexing. I'm talking about
So what
companionship.
if you are?
But I'm not.
Well, I'm just
Because
saying it's a scenario. You're not the first person this happened to.
I,
So
I get right.
if you don't want to talk about it, I can talk about a scenario.
Okay.
Whereas somebody's wife died. They were together for a long time. She passed away. They had kids. This man married someone else. The kids did not like it. He moved his new wife into their mother's home. Their
Oh yeah.
mother's home.
Right.
And they fell out. They fell out. This new woman, I wouldn't have done it, but this new woman moved into that man's house he had with his wife, and it caused a big conflict. And right to this day, him and his kids don't talk
Yes.
because they feel like she took their mother's place, not
Mhm.
realizing your mom and dad probably had a understanding to whereas if one of us pass away, you can move on and be happy if this person is making you happy. See,
Mhm.
again, we need to have these discussions because we don't know. We don't know the hour or the moment. So if something does happen, tell your kids and family it's okay if they move on. Now, if they move on the next day, hold up, wait a minute. She was already there.
Well, wait a minute. What if it was a 5-year thing, like I was saying in my scenario, and then within the last year, it was about being in the hospital. He or she was in the hospital, and and you were going to church, and maybe the person that you are uh seem attracted to is somebody at church that everybody know. Well, no, I won't say church. Let's say somebody at work. Let's say that at the job,
Hmm.
and these people know this woman or this man, and they feel that you should have, like my children might feel like you should say something to me about seeing her or dating her,
Now, if
and I
if
shouldn't
the
have to
kids are
find out.
grown, no. But if I can see if you have minor kids, then yeah, you will have a conversation. But your kids good and grown and out the house, no. For what? What conversations need to be
Well,
had?
would that be disrespectful if that person didn't
No,
say,
it's
hey,
not
I'm seeing
disrespectful
somebody
because
else?
guess what? Your mom or dad passed away 5 years
Mhm.
ago. How's that disrespectful? I feel now I'm ready to move on. Now, what's disrespectful is if you come in and you disinherit your kids. Wait a minute. What? And then now this lady and her kids are beneficiaries. They get all the money. Hold on. Wait a minute. I get it. That's your money. But you also want to protect your parents' assets too. Want to make sure everything is legit.
I'm glad you brought that up. Do you think that is a motivational factor that
Yeah, because
that
you do
plays
have people
in,
out here looking for grieving people.
right?
Grieving.
That plays into why children or relatives might be like, we don't know you, and even like what Vanessa was saying, the girl got up at the funeral and was talking, and you looking at her all side-eyed and be like, we don't know you. You doing all this talking and everything, and then maybe after repast, ain't nobody gonna say nothing to her. Everybody looking at her like, who the hell is
She
you?
probably she probably okay with that. She probably okay with that because guess what? She enjoyed her time she had with the person, and she might not know everybody in the family. Everybody probably saw her, but guess what? His wife had passed. I'm pretty sure some years ago, and so she had the memories. Everybody just probably got questions, but she got the memories, so she okay.
Yeah, but she didn't come to the repast, though. She didn't.
She did.
Um,
They would have been looking at her side-eyed for real.
nah, she didn't show up at the repast. But just because you all touched on that about what's disrespectful and what's not, it made me think about B. Smith when she was sick with dementia and her
Hmm.
husband moved someone into the
It
house
was the nurse. It
while
was her
he was
nurse.
caring for her while she was still alive.
Yep.
That is disrespectful to me. If he would have waited until she passed and then said, hey, we've gone through this for
But
6 long years, that would have been different. But bringing her in the house, having her help you with your dying wife, that was disrespectful to me.
But again, you don't know what agreements they had before the dementia kicked in. See, that's the problem. We don't know what agreements were made between two individuals. All we see is what we see on the outside. She probably told him before the dementia kicks in, like, if the dementia kicks in, yes, you could probably have somebody because I'm not going to remember you.
I mean, that's
I'm not
possible,
going to know
Kim.
you.
That's possible.
You know what I'm saying? We so stuck on what society says what's okay, what society dictates what it should look like, not realizing what agreements were made inside the home between the two.
Now, are those agreements public? I mean,
They shouldn't
everybody
be.
don't have to know what your conversation with your
Right. And they
uh,
shouldn't.
yeah.
And they shouldn't.
So then now the person can probably, just like, I know, well, I can't say I know, but I'm assuming that there's a lot of conversation, Vanessa, going on in your family about, dude and his new girlfriend, and wondering like, well, why don't we know her, and what made her think she had the right to get up there and speak at a funeral, at somebody's funeral that she don't even know this dude.
Well,
So
come to find out, she knew like some of his siblings and like a sister-in-law. She did know them, so she spent time with them. But everybody else, no, not so much.
Well, I see Hercules. He was saying here that he had that experience in 2020. Where he found another wife or companion. Then he would have to have the original house for the children and purchase a new house.
Yeah.
For the new person.
Yeah, but I'm with him. That's what I'm saying. That's what I find disrespectful, because it's like, why would you want to move into another house where the memories are there? No, give me my home.
Mm-hmm.
We can use this as rental property or keep it for the kids. But to me, if you're going to start jumping to something that either divorce or death, you should build something new. Don't go into something where the memories are there. The kids grew up there with both of their parents or whatever the situation may be. So why would you want to walk into that?
That's true. There's a lot of memories.
I'm laying in the bed. You and that woman laid in. Give me a new mattress. No.
Hey, I got a video I want y'all to check out real quick. Check this out.
Up on a forum recently, how soon after the death of a spouse is it okay to start dating? I feel so lonely. Now, I think there are two parts to that question. Of course, I'm not a relationship counsellor at all and don't profess to be. And that's not the bit about that question that I'm going to talk about. My response to that person on the forum was, it's never too soon to date. That's down to you. Unless you're lonely. If you are lonely and the cause of your dating is to fulfill that loneliness, that is putting pressure on the other person to fulfill a need which is yours to be fulfilled on your own.
So what do y'all think about that? Loneliness. A lot of people get into relationships just because they're lonely, not because they're looking for companionship or someone to further their life with. I'm just lonely. Get a dog.
Dogs. No, that's not the same.
I'm just saying.
I know, but when you say you're lonely, that's the same thing. You're looking for companionship.
No, it's kind of different. I mean,
what's the difference? What's the difference?
I mean, if I'm lonely, what I'm saying is I want somebody to be there and for to alleviate that feeling of boredom and loneliness that I'm feeling. Just somebody to be in the house and maybe somebody to go places with me. I ain't in love with you or nothing. You see what I'm saying? It's not about love. But for companionship, you're looking for somebody that's going to love and respect you as much as you love and respect them. and then you want to move that relationship forward as companions till one of you transition. The difference is when people get bored and they feel lonely, they go out and they find somebody to fill that void, sort of say. And is that fair to the person? It's almost like rebound. I know we've heard that, dating somebody on the rebound.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's the same thing. In contrast to you looking for somebody that touches something in you when you're with them, that companionship, that's kind of the difference.
No, because when you're lonely, you can still have somebody and still be lonely. So I don't agree with that comparison, because when you're lonely, that means you're missing something. Something is in a void within yourself. I don't care
Yes,
who you get to go. They won't be able to feel that loneliness. You have to feel that loneliness within yourself.
I agree.
That's a void. Loneliness is a void that can't
Yes.
be fulfilled regardless of who you get.
That's why it's not good for the person that you are filling the void with or the loneliness with, because they thinking you want to be in a relationship with you, in actuality, you just filling a void. And then when that feeling of emptiness or that void dissipates, so will you. Because you're not needed anymore. Because it never was about love or that kind of interconnection. It was just, I'm just feeling a void because my life feels empty right now. So I need to put something in there. So I'm here. I'm going to grab you. Come on over here. Move in my house with me. And you think it's love. Oh, he loved me. No. What you got to say, Londa? You've been quiet today.
I knew that was coming. I mean, I got a lot of stuff to say, but right now it sounds like you looking for a placeholder. That's what it sounds like you want, which is, to me, can be a very dangerous game to play, because you're entering the situation with deceit, and you have no intention on giving this person their desires of what they want or what they're thinking that you want. And then if you don't be upfront about that, then they feelings go on, time go on, commitment and other things, and then it's gonna be a bad situation.
Yeah.
Because you wanted somebody to fill your void and you used them as a placeholder until somebody else came along to give you what it is that you wanted, and that was kind of unfair.
Exactly. Again, that's why it's a catch-22, because you don't know what that person's feeling. You know, you don't know what that person's going through or what they're thinking, their emotional state. We don't know any of that. All we can see is the actions that they take. You know, they show up at an event with a let's say, okay, using my scenario, I show up at an event with a 45-year-old woman on my arm, and here I am, 65. You see. Why are you shaking your head, Londa? Why are you shaking your head?
You know better. But
I should know better. What?
you should know better.
Hey, love ain't got no age on it.
That's
It
not
doesn't.
love.
It doesn't, but you got a secret agenda, but it doesn't.
Now, how you don't know that? You don't know that. You can't say what my agenda is.
You can't, but I don't think that you can change the rules of the game in the middle of halftime. Like, I just don't personally think that you can do that. So whatever situation and agreement and contract that we agreed to in the beginning is, and when you talk about death and actually leaving a relationship, that's two different emotions, because if my spouse passes away or transitions, then we fulfilled that contract, because we said until death do us part. So as soon as you're gone, then I'm free at that point. So not saying that 5 days, 5 months, is the time that you're going to heal, but you got to allow yourself time to properly heal, or you're going to be emotionally or damaged goods for the next person. You're not going to just go and date somebody 5 months after your spouse just passed. Like, that's I don't think that that's going to be a healthy situation for nobody.
Well, I agree, but you was acting as if because she was 45 that's the problem.
What do you and a 45-year-old woman have in common? Like what do y'all possibly have in common?
One thing and one thing only. Wop,
No,
wop, wop, wop.
Necessarily. Not
no.
necessarily.
At that point, that's all what it's about. That wop, baby.
Especially if she's
See, I had
45
to learn
though.
that though. The older I got, I had to learn though. Like when there's a big age gap, you got to either be on my level or above my level because your conversation or intellect gotta keep me actually going. So with you being as smart as you are and intelligent as you are on different levels, like unless you're about to teach and become a daddy/coach, that's probably a little bit out your range. You know what I'm saying?
But wait a
At
minute.
And she
65,
may not be able to mentally grasp what it is that you're trying to show or
at
teach either.
65,
So
he
it's gonna
don't
be
care. He don't care at 65. I don't care. She can be dumb as
Wait a
rocks.
minute.
I don't care.
But wait a minute. What if I
At
just need
65, I don't care.
what if I just
45,
needed somebody to
45 is
hold?
grown.
Yeah, yes, it is very
You know
grown.
what I'm saying? I can
At
see if y'all was talking about
65,
a 22-year-old or a 25-year-old. You feel what I'm saying? To like a 25-year-old to a 45-year-old or something like that. But you talking 45 to a 65, 45-year-old woman, she know,
she established.
she know what she
see,
want.
we're that age, so we know.
Right,
I get that. I get that.
right.
But okay, contrarily to that, say somebody in my age group, so say we're 45 or 46 and she's dating a 67-year-old man, but she's not dating for WAP and none of that other stuff. She's dating for financial benefits. Because number one, you probably go, I got a whole lot of life left. So
Mhm.
she's probably has a different agenda that's not love again, because now we're gonna talk about what's his financial issues, how he's got the
Right.
financial, like what can you do besides that?
She looking
What
for
So
what are the conversations
okay.
besides
Wait a
that?
minute. I'm thinking what I'm hearing here is that the problem with the 45-year-old is not that he's attracted to her, is that she ain't really attracted to him, and the only attraction she could have in him is financial. And so the family
Well,
probably will attack her
because they know
because
this. Because they know this.
that's what they assume. Wait a minute. They assume
Right.
that. Because you
Assume.
know, what if this man has a will and testament and he got all his ducks in a row and he got his T's
Then have
crossed and his
fun.
I's
Have
dotted
fun.
and everything.
Have fun. Just as long as you don't touch my my trust fund. You can have all the fun you like.
I
When
mean,
you
if
start
I
changing the
dated up,
numbers,
it's to retire younger. I mean, that would be the ultimate goal. If I had to date up, it's a plan. I'm ready to retire. So when he retires, I'm retired. Equal opportunity employer. Pretty much it.
You see what Ms. Dominguez is saying here. Many people go into companionship relations, neither looking for a long-term situation. Most times they talk about it up front. That's what gigolos. Wait a minute now, Miss Pamela. Come on now. We ain't talking about the old 65-year-old is a gigolo now. But what if he just looking for, again, companionship, somebody to lay down in the bed next to,
ooh,
you know what I'm saying?
mm.
To somebody that's gonna cook for him, somebody that's gonna wash his clothes, keep the
Then you're
house
looking for a
clean.
nurse. That's called a
No,
senior.
that's a companion.
Nah,
That's what his wife
cooking,
probably
cleaning.
did.
And that's gonna be part of the problem right there, because I'm not giving wife benefits without the title. That's just not gonna happen again. So that's gonna be part of the problem. So you want a wife because your wife has, but then you're not gonna. Are you giving her companion title, or are you giving her another wifey title? Like how that's gonna work?
And
Okay,
most
okay,
men who've been married for a long time, and a spouse or a woman been married for a long time, they're not trying to remarry again. They just want like, I ain't going through that. I don't want to go through that. I'm good. So it
no, okay.
depends on the age when the spouse passes before you decide to move on again. Because
See,
in most cases, women who've been married or been with somebody for a long time and that person passes away, they're not likely to marry again. They're like,
Now
nah, I'm good.
where y'all making these rules up at? Y'all see, before there wasn't no rules and people could go by their heart and everything. Now y'all got all these rules. When the girl was 45, when y'all found out she's 45, these unwritten rules come out.
They ain't unwritten. That's a known fact. That's a known fact.
No, what's a known fact? That a 45-year-old can't be in love with a 65-year-old?
I was just speaking hypothetically.
I don't even want to laugh in your face because you said you're 65. I'm not gonna do that.
Look, we already said this was hypothetical. This ain't about me.
I'm just saying because you're a 65-year-old man, you might get offended.
Get offended about what?
No, I know where Kim going with that. We just give him a free pass. Give him a free pass.
You don't know nothing about me, girl.
No. What I'm saying is,
that's all I'm saying. You know what I'm talking about, me.
No men, because I like them old, but no disrespect to old men out there on that platform. Usually, when an older man dates a younger woman that's like 10 to 20 years younger, it's not about love. It's not.
Well, I'm gonna have to sound like Brenda now. You can't say that's everybody.
Trust and believe, okay? I talk to enough men that's in their 60s and 70s to know it's not about the love.
Let me play devil's advocate right quick.
In that situation,
what you
say? I said it doesn't have to be in that situation. Like, it ain't always got to be about the love. I think it's possible for it to be love. I don't think that's an impossible thing. But as far as what Kim's saying, it's like, it may not be about the love. It depends on both of them and what they own and what they're about. I guess if a 65-year-old man and had his relationship, had his marriage, and maybe he never want to be in another serious relationship again. Maybe he just want to play for the rest of his life, and that's cool too if that's what he want to do.
And that's why he looking for that 45-year-old. Because I promise you, he not looking for no 60 and above woman.
Hey,
wait a minute, you can't say
that's
that.
true. I hear you.
What if he starts dating a 58-year-old? That would be more acceptable, wouldn't it?
It would.
You see what I'm saying? But how you gonna say what the heart wants, though?
Your heart didn't tell you that, though.
Thank you.
What if this 45-year-old woman reminds him of his wife?
Okay.
Can I play devil's advocate?
Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Go right ahead.
Sometimes younger women want older men, and it's not always about I just want a sugar daddy or whatever. Sometimes a woman is like, I don't want to date anyone else my age because it's just not working out. I prefer older men. So it could be one of those situations. It doesn't necessarily have to be him looking for some young woman because it makes him feel like he's the man, But on the flip side, there's this thing going around right now where it's like, it seems like older men do want younger women. And it's pretty much just to, as Kim kind of touched on, take care of them. And they've been calling it the caregiver or whatever. They're looking for a caregiver more so than a wife. But again, I think every situation is unique in itself. Every young woman that dates an older man isn't looking for someone to take care of her. By 45, most people have their stuff together, and it's like, okay, we're just going to be doing things together. Some 45-year-old women, if they're recently divorced or something, they may want an older man because they don't want everything they just had with someone their age. She may have been married 20, 25 years, and she's like, okay, this was terrible. I want something different. I prefer to date older men. I don't think sometimes younger relationships do work out sometimes, but I think nowadays when you see younger women trying to go for the older men, it is based on something besides love. But 45 is not like, she's not a spring chicken. So, she's kind of already established. So now it may be about more companionship than anything else.
Right.
But that's when you say older, like what's like older? Because For the record, for those who know watching, I do date older men because they're more mature, and that's just probably what I was, I'm
I was
attracted
just
to is
about
the
to go there.
older,
Yes.
more mature men than what's in my age bracket. But my daughter's father is like 5 years older than me. But how far up in age, or what's the gap, or what's the age range where it's considered older or just too damn old? Which one is which?
I
Wait
say
a
anything
minute.
past 10 years.
Now here we go with these rules again.
I
The
say anything
age
past
rules.
10 years.
What do you feel like it is? Because, like you said, you particularly date like 5 years maybe, and I think the oldest I've gone was like someone 9 years older than me. Would I date someone a little older than 10 years older than me? Maybe, maybe not. It just depends on that person. If I date someone 10 years older than me, he's gonna be like 63. Would I date someone 73? Probably not. But it could be a jazzy 73-year-old and be like, hey, woo woo, and I don't know he's 73 until he tell me. So I think it just depends.
Yes, I agree with that 1,000%.
Would you date
It ain't
someone
always
10 years
about
younger than
sex,
you?
Kim. It ain't always about sex.
Somebody
Oh,
told
let
me.
B speak. B cooking now. Let him go. Let him go.
Okay.
No, I was just
Go ahead, B.
asking Vanessa, would she date somebody 10 years younger than her?
Uh-oh, come on with it, Vanessa.
You asking me?
Shoot your shot,
Yeah,
B.
yeah.
Shoot your shot, B.
No, because I was just asking
Probably, you know what? Probably not. And I'm only saying this because I have dated someone younger than me. He was like 7 years younger than me. He was work. And like, yeah, I needed a drink, a smoke, a therapist, all of that after him. So I'm like, I don't want to date anybody unless they're my age or older now. And you never know, somebody younger could come along and be like, hey, Vanessa, and get in my ear or something. And I like them and like their vibe. But as it stands, just knowing age, I probably wouldn't. And I think that's more, I want to say Londa kind of touched on it, the maturity and everything, but people are different on every level. So you just never know. Never say never, because every time I say never, some stuff pop up. So,
but isn't there a peer pressure? Oh, look at her. She dating somebody could be her damn son or something to that effect. You know how people be assuming, oh man, look at him. That girl, is that his granddaughter? I mean, all of this little pressure thing
You're gonna have that. You're gonna have that.
But do you know in the South that men were, y'all seen The Color Purple?
Yeah.
They was barely teenagers when they was getting married.
That was then. You can't
Come on now. You acting like the heart changed since then?
But you can't do that now. Laws are
For the
protecting
heart,
it's because of the laws now.
Right.
That's laws,
considered. You go to jail for that now.
Now, let me ask you a question. Did you vote on that law? Or did you just go along with it because somebody else passed it and you benefit from it?
I don't think we was old enough to vote back then.
Well, did anybody black vote on it? That's all I'm saying.
I don't know. It came about when we was of age, so I don't know.
Tyrone is on to something though, because half of our grandparents, depending on what age we are, half of our grandparents or parents may have some big age gaps between them.
There were, yes.
Definitely our grandparents. If you're like 50 or 60, your grandparents probably had a big age gap because older men used to date younger women and marry them and have kids.
Yep.
I think that was just part of the culture then. But maybe the laws came into place because somebody said, these are little girls. They need to grow up a little bit more before they start raising kids and having families. But for some it worked, for some it didn't.
Well,
a lot of times age doesn't make you mature, because
No, it
you
does
find
not.
some
It
people
does
who
not.
hit 18 and 21, they're legally grown, but they aren't mature.
Facts.
This is true.
So is it okay to say like back then, like maybe 30s and 40s and 20s or whatever, like when our grandparents was growing up, they were young, because a lot of birth certificates it's like, oh, he was 32 and she was 14, or it vice
Mhm.
versa. So I get that happened a lot back then. But was it more, do you think that it was more so of the liability part of it, but she's still a girl, a young girl at that, and whether they was 12 or whenever they got their first menstrual cycle, and whenever they went off to get married, it was because he was able to feed her, clothe her, house her, and it was like he turned her
And
into
take
the
care of the
woman for
family.
something
And
in
take care of the family.
return. So it was an equal trade, because he gave her something, the ability and the safety thing, and she provided the other things, and she was easy to teach and easy to learn and easy to manipulate and control. So I'm thinking that was like a
Yeah.
fair exchange type of ordeal.
Well, you have to remember, it was about the family were the ones that gave the
The
daughter
kids
away.
away. Because the man was
Because
able to pay for it, give them food and money and stuff. So here, you
When I
take my
get
daughter.
married, it's because my daddy is going to say, I'm taking you, you can now have all my financial problems. Here she go. You able to handle that.
Right, they say
It
you
started
supposed to
back
ask
in
your
Africa,
daddy's
Tyrone.
permission. Huh?
It goes back to Africa.
Hmm.
Our
Yes.
ancestors did that. Hey, you
That's
got 4 cows, you can have this one.
Yeah.
right. And the age was based upon how young girls were being taught how to cook, clean, sew, all of these things. They were taught at a very young age, because the role that they played in the family was that role. And the men played the role of provider, the protector, things of that nature. And so those roles were identified, and everybody played their role, and we were creating monsters. I mean, I don't mean like monsters. I mean, we were creating Dr. Kings and Malcolm X's, and back in the day. What the hell we creating now? Pookie and Ray Ray? Let's
For
look at
one,
how the stuff is now, since the laws was created to say that these girls are too young to have children and everything. I'm just saying. If you really want to look at it, when it was going on like that, things were in order. Maybe I should say it like that. Things were in order, and because we didn't like the order, and we didn't like the roles that we were given to play in the movie. We didn't like our roles, or somebody convinced us not to like our roles. Feminism, female, the feminist movement provoked us not to like our roles anymore. Then we started allowing these laws to be put into place, saying that I can't marry my daughter off to a man 35 years old until she's of age, which is 21 years old or 18. I don't know what the law says, but my point is, they began to tell us how this thing called family is supposed to be dealt with. I know that ain't even our subject tonight, but you can see how it all intertwines and it all connects. As far as how soon is it to date again? Well, the unwritten law says you have your own time period. It's your right to do it when you feel like it. But just understand, we gonna criticize you. We gonna dog you out. We gonna run you through the gutter if it ain't based on how we see it and how we like it. See, again, it's social media. It's the same crap on social media. If you don't like my post, if you don't like my the post I made, my picture, this, that, and another, I'm looking for attention. But
That's
if
the
you
way of life. Everybody's gonna complain about something. So, oh well.
so again, so if we and I have to add this part, land of the free, Home of the brave. Freedom, really? Are we free? Really? And free to do what? Free to do what? You can't even decide when you're going to get married or who you can marry because somebody got a rule or a law that says, nope, that's not right. And it's about sex. If you 65 and you marrying a 45-year-old woman, you just trying to get your guac on. And so now I'm supposed to be like, well, I really like this young lady. I met her at work. She's nice. She's intelligent. She's respectful, you know, and she cooks real good and she's good on the eyes and everything, you know. But if I brought that girl home, I'd be disowned. So now this man or this woman can't even live their life because society will dog you out.
Society may do that, but can I ask a question though? And it might not really be a question, might be rhetorical. I got to try to find a nice way to get it out though. I lost my train of thought trying to be nice. Never mind. Stop
being nice. Ain't nobody nice on
We uncut.
Just don't be disrespectful.
No,
don't be disrespectful.
But in today's society, since we're talking about society, and in today's society as of right now, most people, including us, never been taught how to properly date, which is number one. So I don't think nobody really knows how to properly date or was taught how to properly date. That's one, both male and female. Women get the double standard stigma because, you know, you're supposed to be a woman and, you know, nobody's going to count y'all bodies, but they definitely going to be trying to count ours. Totally different perspective, right? So that's another double standard. So now when you talk about giving your daughter away, like, are you going to give us to a man that want to go 50-50? Because that's a roommate, number one. And most people have probably forgotten the roles that they actually play versus the masculine role and the feminine role. So now you got the roles are all reversed, and then other people got different agendas now. So what you bring to the table now is, you know, when you want to go 50-50 now, like it's totally different now than what it was back then, where, you know, I watched my granddaddy work at CTA and retire his whole life, but he gave my grandma that check every time that check came. He took his money to do his weekly thing with it, but he made sure that my grandma paid the mortgage, she paid the bills, the water bill, she put the grocery in the house, the kids had clothes, she did everything she was supposed to do to make her house function. Right. And that's how that role went. Nowadays, you're probably not going to get that, but I mean, I live to see it. I know how it operates and how it works, but that's not how men don't want to be solely responsible. Some don't want to be solely responsible for this family or his family. So that's like, I don't know, it's going to be a kind of an iffy situation when they operate like that.
I don't know where you got that from, that men don't want to be responsible. I think men have been taken out from being responsible because when the jobs, the factories were moved out of the inner cities and moved into the suburbs and out of state, and women were given clerical jobs and secretarial jobs and public aid and all and healthcare and all that stuff. Women were given with the premise that you can't have a man in the house. You see what I'm saying? You can't say that this just happened in a vacuum. This is something that happened because it was designed to happen that way, so that women would be the breadwinners of the family, of the household. And if there was a man there, he had to play a subservient role, which goes against his nature as a man. And so that's why you're not going to see a lot of men in women-led households. Unless, what's the word they use for them now? Simps? Unless they simping, you ain't gonna find no man in no household with the woman as the head of the household. It just ain't gonna happen. But now, back in the days,
wait, what?
Vanessa, don't comment, Vanessa. Don't.
No, say that again.
I said, you're not gonna find many men. I ain't say all. I say you ain't gonna find many men that's going to be in a household where the woman is the head of the household because she makes the most money. That goes against his nature that he has to be subservient to his wife or to follow. I mean, it's like the reverse roles. Like roles has been reversed, whereas the woman is the leader and she's the breadwinner and everything, and the man now he's the homemaker. He at home washing clothes and mopping floors and washing dishes and doing all that stuff. That goes against that's almost like having a lion at home taking care of the cubs and the female lion going out hunting.
It's happening.
But that's her job technically. But
That's
that is what she does.
right.
That is her job. But I'm saying though, now as of right now, a man is a man. You're a masculine man. So if you know your role, it makes me know my role. And if we're not talking about monetary value, when there's a man and he's a head of a household, I do naturally submit to a man that takes control.
But not all of y'all, not even a large percentage. You are in the minority. The minority. Most women, when they got the bucks and the education, they got the degrees and they got the money, the brother got to cow down, or he just gonna be a drive-by.
Well, that's because they've been tricked. They just been tricked into the American broadcast.
I agree with that. But
I
still,
don't agree, but that's a different topic for another time. I do not agree to what you're saying.
I know, because I got a lot to add to that one.
Thank you. I'm sitting here like, let me hold my mute. This is not the topic, because there are men who are stay-at-home men while the women go out there and work. But again, I'm going to hold my mute. This is not the platform for this conversation.
I'll say it again. Not all.
I agree, but majority.
But what you don't want to accept is that there are men that are like that.
I didn't say I didn't accept it, but majority of the men, outweighs the ones that are. So if you really want to go there, we can say that for another time.
We can come back with this next week. But my point is, it's impossible because the percentage of men that are in the family household right now is very low. Very, very low. So for you to say that the majority, that goes against the percentage of the statistic that talks about family structure as it is right now. It's led by single family head of household female. That's the majority.
And why is that? Why is that?
Well, where do we house all these men at? Since we talking about too soon, where do we search for the masculine men that protect and provide and profess? Like, where do we find them at too soon? I'm just asking.
And where are those men who's leading their household?
Where are they housed? If all the houses are housed by single women, dominant women, where are the men housed at? I would like to find them.
There go two souls right there.
Household that's leading their own households.
These are great questions because I'm sure there are answers to these questions. But again, what you all act as if y'all don't understand what's going on here. We've been talking about this stuff for months now, about how our family has been destroyed, how it got destroyed, who destroyed it, who broke it up. I even just mentioned a few minutes ago how public aid and giving women jobs and all that stuff broke up the structure of the family.
And why did we have to get the public aid and all of this and that? Why? Because
they moved the jobs for men. Wait a minute, you asked the question, so I'm answering. When World War II and black men went to war, and most of them died over there. When they came back home, when they were away at war, they gave women jobs. in factories. Y'all remember that? Y'all seen the commercials. Women would have the little headbands on. They were making bullets. They were in the factories getting their job thing on.
Okay.
And when men came back from war, there were no jobs for the men. The women were in the jobs. And so then at that point, they started taking the factories that were in the cities. Y'all, you was old enough to remember that they were steel mills. Remember the steel mill factories and all that? Where black men were working and they were taking care of their families working in these steel mills. And when they removed those jobs, those black men didn't have anywhere to go to work. They didn't have any jobs because most of them didn't have an education. This is why women ran the household, because women are smart and stuff like that. Men don't know nothing about finances and all that. He come home, give his money to his woman. She take care of the bills. She do everything. That is the order of things. But then we got tricked. And this is what Londa was saying. We got tricked into thinking that it's okay. You down, husband, you down, and maybe I'll keep us afloat, until you get back up. But the nigga can't get back up because the society ain't gonna never let him up, because to let him up is to put him back in charge of the family, to put the woman back in her spot, the children be back in their spot, and black people will be on the one again.
So let me just say this, because I know this isn't our topic, but
Right.
I get so sick of this argument because all men did not leave the household and leave women to fend for themselves. There were many men who stuck in there and raised their families and were husbands. But many men did run away and they used that as a crutch. Well, they did this and they did that. They. But a lot of men found something to do so they could take care of their families. So we can't keep playing with that they game, because at some point we've had these conversations for decades now. We know what was done and what the whole point of them doing some of the things that they did was, but we knew. So what do they say? When you know better, do better. We can't keep having this same conversation 20, 30, 40 years go by and the man still hasn't stepped up to the plate. Now it becomes, oh, women are so this and that, and they won't allow a man to be a man. When a woman has to carry something for so long, it makes you have to be strong. You have to become a certain woman to take care of home. You may have grown up in a household with one parent, and that parent that you lived with had to do everything on their own. So it made them stronger, be it a man or a woman. You have to fight for what you want. If you want to let the system take care of your kid, you was going to let the system take care of your kid. For some men, that was all they needed, because they wanted to be out and about anyway. But for some men, they stuck it out. They said, nah, you're not going to make me leave my wife. You're not going to make me leave my kids. You're not going to make me let the system take care of my family. So that's some BS. And we got to quit talking about that one. We know about it. Let's do something about it.
Thank you. Go back to school. Learn the trade.
Right. Okay. I'm gonna say this. And then maybe 6 months to a year from now, you'll understand what I'm saying, because the black man is no longer the target anymore. It's black women now. They targeting y'all. You losing your jobs now.
Everybody losing that job, not only black women. Everybody. AI is taking over. Regardless of what color you are, AI is taking over.
Okay, just keep it up. And when you ain't got no job and your man ain't got no job, then you'll be able to see the hidden hand in all of this stuff. You see what I'm saying?
Everybody is losing their jobs.
Okay, we gonna see. I bet you these white folks ain't losing their jobs. I'm talking about these people with money and they family. They take care of their people. They gonna make sure they family get your job. If you was working as a cashier, if you was working as a manager of a health food store or a health gym or whatever, you're gonna start seeing white folks gonna be on them jobs. These white folks' cousins and their aunties, and they gonna be doing these jobs. Old white people gonna be bagging groceries and you're gonna be at home talking about I need to find an extra way to make money. You know what the extra way is that they leave for us to make money? Sell drugs.
No, here's our chance to make our new Wall Streets, to make our new road.
I would love that.
That's what they did then. People had been Black people's necks back then.
Beautiful.
That's
but you see how envious and jealous they were back then, and what they did when we began to come together and do like what you're saying, when they put us in the position where the Black man and the Black woman are together again and working together and build something like that. You see what history has shown us what they do. So again, if we're gonna do all that stuff, we have to learn from history, and we have to have our own military. We already got them. You know what they called? GDs and BDs. I'm gonna just leave it at that. We got our own military, but we ain't protecting each other. Well,
let's do the closing thought.
Yep. Our closing thoughts, y'all. I love this conversation. This was a very good conversation. But I actually, I
said, even though we got off track.
That's all right. See, are you really off track if you're speaking on something that's relevant? Are we really off track? You know, if it's relevant to life, you know, I think there's well, to get back to the topic, there's no calendar date for the heart.
No.
There's no age range for the heart. I believe, now for me personally, I shouldn't say never, because you can't say what you'll do. But I believe I would never resort to dating any female under the age. Well, I'll put it like this. This is my belief, that when you date a woman, that woman needs to be half your age plus 7.
Mm-hmm.
Half your age plus 7. So if I was to date a woman, she would have to be 30. What is that? 32 and a half plus 7, every 39, damn near 40. 39 and a half or 40 years old. That would be the age of a woman that I would date. That's my final thought. Or closing thought, I should say. Let me see. Anybody else want to say anything? I'm gonna just say the people that are Herc, Tyshonda, thank you all for your comments. Pam, who else? Herc and Pam said a lot. Herc, Pam, Dominguez, who is this? Miss Keisha. She was on YouTube.
Keisha Thomas.
Yeah, Keisha Thomas. Yeah, she was on YouTube watching this. Who else? Tracy and Isha, Dion. Okay. We had a lot of people watching us tonight. It got up to almost like 13 people was watching at one time. So conversation must have been pretty interesting, y'all. So I thank you all for being here. I thank you for your comments. So now what we calling this thing next week? What
we picking back up where we just left off just now?
About men. What was it? Men that don't what? Come on,
the age gaps.
Well, we technically will, like, for all of the men, the real men that like to be protectors and providers, that like submissive women. If you're single, go ahead and leave your comment below, and we'll tally it up at the end.
Y'all were asking where they at. That was the question. Where are all the men that want to be providers and protectors and head of household?
No, not wanting, that are providers. We ain't saying wanting to be, that they are. They are the kingdom of their own place. Well, they're running their household. Okay. They're running their finances. They're running how to handle business. They standing on business. We're looking for those men. Comments.
They already got somebody.
Regardless, still in your comments.
Why would they put a comment? Well, okay, I'll just say next week.
They can teach the ones who don't have anybody.
Now
That's
you're
looking for
talking.
somebody.
You gotta make them.
That's what it comes down to, teaching.
Yes. It
We gotta
starts with you
teach.
teaching your
You right,
sons,
Tim. We gotta teach.
teaching them
So
how to
students
be.
become the teachers.
The students become the teachers. Okay, I don't know. Are you talking about women being students?
Whoever, man or
Okay.
woman.
Okay, I think I triggered some of y'all, so I'm gonna just leave it alone.
You didn't trigger us. We got that
See
come
that?
back.
What they
We
say
got that. We
when you
got
throw
the
a rock?
comeback.
What they say when you throw a rock, the only one to holler is the one
Oh,
that
I'm
it
throwing
hit.
bricks. You throw rocks, I'm throwing bricks.
So
Picking up.
I like I said, I triggered some of y'all.
You didn't
so
trigger
I'ma
now. We
just leave
just
it
coming with the
alone.
comeback. That's all. We got a comeback for you.
Okay, Kim. You know I love you, girl.
Same here. Like I said, I'm throwing bricks. You throw rocks, I'm throwing bricks.
Okay, here we go. All right, thank you all for being on. Next week we're gonna have this conversation about where are the men that desire or are providers and protectors and head of households. We're gonna touch on that next week. Until then, we thank you all for being here, and we'll see y'all next week. We out of peace.
Thanks for supporting our podcast. We look forward to see you next Thursday at 8 p.m. We also ask that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. The more subscribers we have, the more YouTube will push our podcast to more viewers. But until then, subscribe also for a peaceful mind. Your activity will reflect that peace.